Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Villain Report. I am the 313 Villain. My name is Russell Wayne. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing on this Victory Monday? My name is Russell Wayne. This is the Villain Report. I am the UDFA of sports podcasting. No draft hype, no silver spoon, no handshakes from the big networks, just like an undrafted dog clawing for a roster spot. I wasn't wanted in this game. But I'm still here, still grinding, still hitting harder, talking louder, and outlasting the so-called pros. I am the villain, the unwanted, the overlooked, but undeniable. Every show is a fight for respect. Every word is a rep in the trenches. You don't have to like me, but you're going to feel me. It's faith, family, and then football. And a whole lot of grit. That's the Villain Report. Let's get to work. It's September 23rd, 2025, and for the first time since 2005, your Detroit Lions marched into Baltimore on Monday Night Football and left with a W. That's right. The bully got punched in the mouth and the streak is over. The curse is cooked, and the Villain Report is live to celebrate it. Today, we're breaking it all down. The sacks, the splash plays, the swagger, and we're talking a little trash because that's what you do when history finally flips into your favor. And since the Lions delivered under the bright lights of Monday Night Football, we're delivering to a special edition of Overreaction Tuesday. Yeah, it's usually on Monday, but victory tastes better on Tuesday anyway. So strap in, Villain Squad. The Ravens are crying. The streak is dead, and the Lions just made prime time theirs. So let's get to it. This episode is brought to you by Fanatics.com. That's right. If you're rocking with the 313 and you bleed Honolulu blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking official Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, WWE gear, and Red Wings drip so icy that it should come with a Zamboni. And here's what you do. You click this link in the description, in the comments right now. Save up to 25% off of your order. Every click supports the channel, the page, and lets the world know that Detroit fans do it bigger. They do it better. Villain Squad don't do knockoffs. We do official. We do Fanatics. Get yours. Hitting that 79,000 strong right here and right now. 79,000 people on Facebook. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for doing that. Help us storm the castle of 100,000 followers. I think we're going to cross 80,000 if we're not there already. So thank you for that. And are you on YouTube? And if you're on YouTube, we're almost to 1,000. Help us out there. I only need like 10 more people, 15 more people. Hop over there. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. And we're everywhere. The Villain is everywhere. So Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you scroll, the Villain rolls. Connect with me on all the platforms and be part of the takeover. Because it's faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football to spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. So there it is. Here it is. Lions win in Baltimore. 38-30. So let's not waste any time. Before I go any further, let's get into this locker room, a little bit of this locker room celebration right here. Here you go.
All right, man, that's a great win. We did exactly what we said we needed to do, play complimentary freaking football, man. When we needed it most, every phase picked up the slack, man. That's how you win games against teams like that, man. And now you know what the barometer is like on the AFC. It's a great win. I got a couple of game balls here. You give out $1 million, but I'm going to give 2. All right, let's start on offense. 12 carries, 151 yards, 2
It wouldn't be possible without y'all, man. Well, when we winning, bro.
All right, this thing says 41 total tackles. It can't be right. Okay, 2.5 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and 2 TFLs. Mr. Muhammad.
You know what? I want to thank every player, every coach, everybody that's in this organization, because about a year ago, I was home, I was on the couch. So when you get an opportunity, you make sure you take advantage of it. I want to also thank the guys in my room for helping me out this week. You know, without them, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did today.
Win, guys. Love you guys, man. We'll get ready for Cleveland. Break it out.
Hey, great win. What else do you want to say?
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think about that? Love it. I love it. There's a whole bunch of things that we wanted to have happen in there. So let's break this down. This is awesome. This is awesome. So let's get in here, share this tab instead, and let's break down what happened in this game. But before I do that, let me say hello to everybody. I do this sometimes. Sorry about that. Good morning, Rick.
You like that?
Rick says that game was nowhere close to the score, what the score suggested. Yeah, they got a garbage time touchdown. That's okay. Central Scrutinizer. Mark G's in the house.
You like that?
That's right. Davey's in the house.
You like that?
What's up? Make sure you get those comments in there. And if you don't know what the comment, how about you do it like this? If you don't know what the comment, if you love the Detroit Lions, give me a hell yeah in the comments. If you don't know what the comment, you got questions, throw them into the comments, and we'll try to get to it today. Why not? Let's get it done.
You like that?
All right. So let's talk about this game a little bit. Steve.
You like that?
Let me say hi to Paul Jones in the house.
You like that?
Tyler's in the house. I didn't finish.
That?
Yeah, there we go. Adam's in the house.
You like that?
Let's see. John, what's up?
You like
All
that?
right, Joseph.
You like
That's
that?
right. That's right. So Lions win 38-30. So let's look at these player stats right here. Goff goes 20 for 28, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He didn't really need to do much because David Montgomery, 12 carries, 151 yards, 12.6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns.
You like that?
Come on. Dominated on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs, 22 carries for 67 yards, only 2 touchdowns. They were stopping the run.
You like that?
Jared Goff, 4 carries for 6 yards. That's right. Jared Goff hitting the over on his rushing title.
You like that?
You got to like that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 for 77. 1 TD. What a beautiful TD that was, too. And then another clutch catch by Amon-Ra St. Brown on 4th and 2. Big balls, Dan Campbell dials up a big play to seal the game. It's a beautiful thing. And then look, and then on defense, come on, guys. This is crazy when you think about it. You got a sack from Jack Campbell. You got a sack from Derek Barnes. You got a sack from Al-Quadin Muhammad. You got a sack from Aiden Hutchinson. You got a half a sack from Anzo. You got a sack from Trevor Nowaski. I think that adds up to 7 sacks. 7 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson only had 1 of those sacks. So we let that sink in. It's a beautiful thing. We'll go over to the team stats right here. Lions won the total yards battle, 426 to 318. Passing yards, 202. They had more passing yards, but who cares? We had so many more rushing yards. 224 rushing yards to 85. Needless to say, the Lions' two-headed monster was much more devastating than the two-headed monster of the Baltimore Ravens. 6.5 yards per play in this game. 24 first downs. 7 of 14 on third down. Fourth down efficiency. 3 for 3. 3 for 3 on fourth down. Sacks allowed. 0 sacks allowed by the Lions offensive line. 7 sacks. 7 sacks. That's crazy. 3 punts apiece. We had more penalties than they had. 8 for 68. I don't know if I definitely... I'm going to complain a little bit about the referees because we won the game. That call on Brian Branch was BS. That call on Brian Branch where they went for low blocking, that should have been a hit to the head on them. But that's all right. They tried. Referees tried to manipulate the game. Try to keep it a little bit close. I guess it's Monday Night Football, so you got to do that. So that's okay, though. See what you guys thought about that. What you think about that win?
Like that?
Offensive line, defense coming from the Central Scrutinizer.
Like that?
Mark Orlando comes in with the good old-fashioned smash mouth football. That's right. Trevor says that the defense couldn't keep up with us. No sacks on Goff. That's awesome. MCDC has big kahunas for that fourth down strike. Beautiful throw from Goff to Amon-Ra. What a beautiful throw. And perfectly in stride. And Fred with some info right here. This is true. 7 sacks ties Lamar's career record. Mark says that the O-line is going to be just fine. And Tyler says, can we talk about how Aiden completely changed the tone of the game when he punched the football out of Derrick Henry's hand? That was a great punch out. You know, you had Derrick Henry coming around the bend, trying to get around that tackle, and he's worried about sizing up a linebacker. And then Aiden comes in from behind with the offhand and then punches the ball out. And then DJ Reed jumps on the loss. And that really did. That really changed the game. That really changed the game for the win. That was where you really felt like we were going to win. Then it was just a matter of finishing it out. I mean, the only thing that I could really say about the game and criticism is when David Montgomery was running for that touchdown, he probably shouldn't have ran in for the touchdown. He probably should have, fell down in bounds about 10 yards short and then run the clock out. Because there was some posturing at the end where you kind of gave them like a 0.5% chance to win. Because they were able to drive down the field, score a garbage touchdown, and then at least attempt an onside kick to have an attempt to, maybe get a Hail Mary and try to tie the game with another touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And if David Montgomery would have just fell down and not scored, then they wouldn't have done that, because we definitely played prevent defense and just let them go right down the field. That wasn't a good look at the very end. But yeah. Kyle asks us, do we have a top 3 O-line again? I mean, that's a good question. You know, we have a couple good players in there. We knew that going into the year. The big question was the young guys in the middle, right? You know, Christian Mahogany, and then you're sliding Glasgow over, and then Tate Ratledge. That's the big question. That was the big question. And it's like, you give it time, and these guys are going to be fine. Do we have the best O-line in the league again? I mean, that's a pretty good team that you just ran all over. I'm looking for all. Let me see if I can find them in here. I mean, we got Central Scrutinizer. We have all of our regular people in here. Scotty Reno, straight up bully ball.
You like that?
But I'm looking through here. I'm not seeing all the big tough guy talk. Where's John Dorn? No John Dorn, no Steve, no big tough guy talk today. No, you know what happened, guys? I thought that that the Ravens were supposed to destroy the Lions, right? We're not as good as we used to be. Our window is closed, right? I thought our window was closed. No trolls? What a big surprise this is. You beat one of the best teams in the NFL, and the trolls shut their mouths.
You've had enough of that shit.
The widow feelings are hurt. I'm surprised there isn't anybody in here trying to, like, complain about the refs or something like that. Where's the full skull Packer fans? Where are all those Packer guys? They had so much energy during last week. Where are the talking heads? That's what DJ says. I'm surprised Broski is in here because Broski actually predicted that we would win the game. Fool's Gold Packers. You lost to the Browns. You lost to the Browns. So now I can even make fun of it even more. And now we got to go play the Browns. So in order for that dig to dig in as much as it possibly can, then we're going to need a victory over the Browns. And I would love to get a convincing victory over the Browns. Oh, I just realized I accidentally put up Johnny Gaz's graphic in my background. I apologize, Johnny Gaz. I did not mean to do that. Had your graphic on there from your show last night. I'm sure I didn't get a chance to look at what Johnny Gaz did last night. But the Lions win 38-30. What was your biggest point of the game that maybe surprised you? That's a good question. What was the biggest thing that surprised you? Like something that happened in the game that you were just like, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to do that. Was it the offensive line? Did you what did you think that was it Lamar Jackson? Was it like we wouldn't be able to stop a running quarterback? Was it that? Was it we're not going to be able to stop Derrick Henry and his big downhill running style? What was it for you that the Lions did yesterday that surprised you? Because I think that some of us thought that they could win the game, but in the back of our minds, at least my mind, I'm thinking, history's not on our side. You got that PTSOL creeping in. I thought that we would cover it and get close, but I wasn't 100% sure we could win this game. And for me, the biggest thing was stopping Lamar Jackson. Going into this week, the things that I wanted to see going into this, it's like that there's a percentage of Lion fans that are like, you can't stop a mobile quarterback and you have no pass rush opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. There's a percentage, a certain amount, a group of people that are Lions fans that feel that way. And if you were one of those Lions fans that felt that way, that we can't stop a running quarterback, and that we wouldn't, that we needed to go out and make a big trade for pass rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson, did yesterday's game calm your nerves a little bit? Did they prove to you that they could stop a mobile quarterback, or is this just a one-off? Did they get lucky? Or is this a sign of things to come? I mean, it's the ultimate question. Obviously, we're not going to be able to answer it, but let me know what your thoughts are on that. Rick C says, we all know you're watching. Don't be afraid. They're watching. They're all like in their feelings and their little tears. They wanted to come in, and they wanted so much to come in and, have their, even if they could critique the win, look into the win and tell me how we got lucky or something like that. You can't even do that because we dominated that game. 38-30 is not a good indicator of what that game was. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. The Lions dominated that game. Honestly, Lamar Jackson's lucky that he didn't throw a couple more turnovers in there. Two, though. Brian Branch had a turnover in his hand. They even scored a touchdown on that drive. So I feel like the defense is good, but the defense is still elevating yet. Central says, this fan says, buckle up. I think our proverbial foot is on the gas pedal. That's right. That's right. Take a few weeks, to get used to the new calls, get used to the new coordinators. But for all you people out there that were saying that the coordinators was going to be the downfall of the year, that's not it. Could take a few weeks. I thought we'd come right out of the gate running, but we didn't do that. It took us a few weeks to get it under our belts. I still don't think we're all the way there. I think it's going to take 6 weeks before we start hitting, that have all of our very smart, awesome players understand new schemes and ideas. So, Detroit Fan Man says, signing Cunningham as our Timu Lamar for practice was such an outstanding move that I don't think that we are celebrating it nearly enough. So if you don't know what Detroit Fan Man is talking about here, the Lions signed former Raven and Lamar Jackson teammate Malik Cunningham. Now, I don't know if he's a quarterback, but they used him in the practice to mimic what Lamar Jackson does. And what Detroit Fan Man is saying right there is we should be celebrating that, because that is a underrated move. Because Dan Campbell was even talking about when they first signed him and they brought him into the practice that the first 2 days of practice were not very good, that Malik Cunningham was running all over the place. And that it took them a couple days. So if they didn't do that move, I got a feeling that Lamar Jackson probably would have had a pretty big game, because there were a couple close calls in there for him almost escaping the pocket. And then because we had a guy in there spying on him almost on every play, we were able to minimize his gains. So, Kyle's already got his prediction in for the game on Sunday. Mark says the Browns have a good run defense. Goff might have to do a little bit more in that game. We'll see. We'll see. The Ravens have a really good run defense. So, if you got a really good offensive line and you can run against the best teams, look out. I'm curious to see if we are going to be able to run against them, Mark. Because if you can run against these really good defenses, what do you think they're going to do? I mean, we're going to eat against some of these defenses that aren't quite as good. Seven sacks. I'm Lamar Jackson, DJ. Kyle says that his biggest surprise was holding both Lamar and Henry to under 100 yards rushing. Both of them together. That is impressive. That was one of my determining factors. That was something like, in the back of my mind, can we stop? Can we have a defense that can stop one of these elite escapability artist quarterbacks? And a lot of people believe that Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in the league. He can throw from the pocket. He can throw from outside of the pocket. He can run. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever. One of the most efficient quarterbacks ever. Highest QB rating ever. And they were able to hold those two monsters. Henry's a monster. Like, if he gets out and starts running downhill and even gets to the line of scrimmage, it's insane. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, he's 250 pounds. Like, he's bigger than our middle linebacker. Usually the linebackers are the ones that are in there, the big guys that can stop the run. But when you're dealing with Derrick Henry, I mean, you're literally having like a defensive end running downhill at you. And usually where you have the power advantage be with your linebackers on running backs, you don't have that when you're playing Derrick Henry. So, yeah, that was huge for me. And it's okay to admit it now because they defeated it, but are you one of those people that was questioning whether the Lions could stop a running quarterback or an escape artist quarterback? And if you are, give me a Y for yes and for no. Because I was skeptical. I will admit it. That I was skeptical that we could stop Lamar Jackson. I went to the game in 2023. I was in Baltimore when we lost, only scoring 6 points. And it was stopping Lamar Jackson. It's just like you get him into these third situations and he just sit back there, carved us apart. They wouldn't get it. It wasn't getting any pressure on him. And he's just sitting back there in the pocket. We had a defense to where we're like, we're gonna force Lamar Jackson to throw from the pocket. And we did. And he carved us up. Kept him in the pocket. He stayed in there comfortable all day long. So this is a huge thing for me. Mark Orlando for his. This is a good one too. The 11-minute 98.5-yard drive, then followed up by another 96-yard drive. That was huge. What a statement. To me, that's a statement by the offensive line. Because I remember that first play, Mark, on that drive was like a 4-yard David Montgomery run. Didn't seem like much at the time. You know, you're just moving it out to the 5-yard line. But giving the Lions that extra space right there and having the offensive line just move the middle, running right at the middle. Ravens were without their best defensive tackle, Matt Abuke, and you do what good coaches do. If you find any kind of weakness or any chink in that armor, then run right at it. And that's what they did. A lot of their successful runs were right in that spot. Now, I don't give the Baltimore Ravens an excuse for being without their best player in the middle, because we were also without our best player in the middle in Aleem McNeil. So I'm not going to listen to injury excuses. It's the next man up. We won 15 games with taxi drivers last year and drywallers. So, miss me with all those excuses. But yes, Mark, I agree with you. That's a great one.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
That's biting kneecaps off. 98.5-yard drive followed up by a 96-yard drive. Great call. Jack Campbell held up against Derrick Henry. He did. Jack Campbell forced a fumble on 4th down on the goal line. I mean, those are huge plays. Tyler says that the 7 sacks is what surprised him. Muhammad looked great. 2.5 sacks. Are you feeling better about the Lions' pass rush now? Do you still think that we need to go out and, I mean, we could sign a new player if you wanted. But they admitted last night that they're doing one of these cool things that I thought that they should do because I watched them do it with Micah Parsons. Is they're starting to give Aiden Hutchinson free reign where he wants to line up on that line. So you got 3 people eaters, whoever those are going to be, you know, Reeder, Tyleek Williams, and then a rotation of some guys with Muhammad and Pat O'Connor. There are some guys in there. But let Aiden Hutchinson roam all over that line. Let him pick his lane that he wants to go through. Find him a my bitch. Who's my bitch? There he is. And when you got a guy like Aiden Hutchinson and people are double, triple teaming him, then guys like Muhammad, you gotta win your one-on-one matchups. And what an opportunity that is for that guy opposite of Hutchinson. Yeah, sure, $47 million and putting Micah Parsons there fixes that problem 100%. You don't even have to take 2 guys off the field. But this way, if you got a guy that can win a one-on-one like Muhammad can, the guys that are opposite of Hutchinson, those guys are going to get lots of one-on-one looks. And that's what happened. Muhammad just has to beat the one guy that he's on, and he ate yesterday. How awesome would that be to come in here like that? You know? And then you have to, you're always going to get a one-on-one. You know, Zadarius Smith, go get your $9 million. We're not paying $9 million so you can rush one-on-one. It's a privilege to play on the opposite of Hutchinson. I mean, is Zadarius making that big of an impact on the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm not saying he's playing bad or anything like that. I think he has a sack. But do you think that he would have had any more than 2.5 sacks yesterday if he was on the team? So, yes, there you go. 7 sacks is what surprised me, and Muhammad looked great. Great call.
You like that?
Thanks for the comment, Tyler. Detroit Fan Man says, this is a great topic, guys, by the way. I'm glad you guys are being awesome in here. I love reading these. This makes my job easy. Let me know your thoughts. You guys listen to me talk all the time, right? We gave up 0 sacks. Detroit Fan Man says that. We gave up 0 sacks and ran the ball for 224 yards, simply pushed their face in. Was that surprising to you, Detroit Fan Man? It definitely surprised me to give up 0 sacks. I like that call, if that's where you're going. And then running the ball for 224 yards. They had that 98.5-yard drive. I believe that 11 out of those 16 plays in that drive were runs. I can appreciate the offensive coordinator, Johnny Morton, imposing his will. That was one thing that I always didn't like about Ben Johnson. And I'm not shitting on Ben Johnson just because he's not with the team anymore. But you guys can admit that sometimes when Ben Johnson would get these leads, he wants to be slickery dickory doodah. And, you know, the run game's working. Oh, let's do a slick pass. No. I like Johnny Morton style right there. Oh, we're going to run the ball. Oh, you can't stop the run? Here's another run. Oh, you still can't stop it? Here's another run. Oh, you still can't stop it? Here's another run. That's the way I used to play Madden football. I was the most unsexy Madden player ever. But I got my Madden account ranked in the top 1,000 players in the United States. Now, granted, that was 2007, but my Madden style was simple, stupid. Ran lots of halfback dives. And to me, it's like, you know, button mashing. You're not going to stop my halfback dive. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. And then again. And again. I remember playing a game of Madden where I did the entire first half of all halfback dives because the guy wouldn't come up and defend it. It's getting 5-yard chunks. Can hear him bitching in his, oh, you do the same thing over and over again. So what? Stop me. So I like that.
You like that?
I like that style. I'm going to do this one little simple thing, a very high percentage play where you don't take a risk on turning the ball over as much when you're handing the ball off. Low, high percentage plays. And if you're getting, 6-7 yard chunks, keep running the ball. I love it. Just push them around. Offensive line pushing them around. Thanks for the comment. Paul Jones, 7 sacks without a blitz. Blitz is diabolical. The linebackers were spies. Yeah, they didn't really blitz the linebackers, did they, Paul? The linebackers were just kind of like, hovering in that space, keeping an eye on him. And when he came to the outside and he starts moving up like he might run, and then they would come up. So great game plan. Now I don't know what they're going to do, but I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are going to be fine, and they're going to torch some other teams. We'll see. Steve says, surprised on that 4th and 2 flag wasn't on the Lions. Tell me we all didn't think that. I mean, I thought it for a minute, But I saw the hold on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was I was pitching at it in the screen, Steve. So when they threw the flag, in the back of my mind, I was like, that's got to be the hold. You know how it is. If you're watching the offensive line and they're getting held up and you're like, hold, and then they throw the flag. That was my reaction on it, Steve. Because when he was making his release after they did the play action, he grabbed Amon-Ra's jersey going out for the pass because he got burnt on it so bad. So when he grabbed his jersey, I pointed at the screen and started whining. But I was right. And he caught the ball. And either way, that's the beautiful thing, Steve. Either way, even if he dropped the football, we would have gotten a first down. Fred also agrees that 7 sacks on Lamar was the big surprise. That was a pretty big surprise. Fred says, I'm surprised J-Mo didn't get more looks. Branch dropping the interception in his hand. He doesn't miss those. Yeah, that game would have been even a worse beatdown. If they would have got that interception, if Branch would have intercepted that ball, they scored on that play. I think this would have been more of a blowout. They had a couple of opportunities to really embarrass this team. So if there's any regrets, that's the only thing. Was like the game wasn't perfectly played. We won without playing our best game. So I like that call. I wasn't surprised only that Baltimore scored that many points. Ooh. I think Central Scrutinizer's in here. He's been beating his chest all offseason in here. Feeling pretty good about this Lions team. And I like being right about stuff. I mean, I come in here and I'm optimistic all summer long about this team. And then I have my haters that come in here and want to run their mouths in my comments and tell me how we're done, how the offensive and defensive coordinator are going to be such a big deal. Like all of a sudden, all of our great players are going to forget how to play football because Johnny Morton's calling the play instead of Ben Johnson. I've always just thought that was a ridiculous take. Now, it doesn't surprise me that it takes a couple weeks to get it together, right? But a whole season or like you're done, you're going to waste a whole season on it? I put more stock into Frank Ragnow not being there, a perennial all-pro every year. So the Central Scrutinizer and myself, we can do our touchdown dance. I own my bad takes, so I'm going to tell you about the good takes, which is I believe the entire summer that Ben Johnson and Kelvin Shepard, or Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn leaving wasn't going to make as big of a difference as what people thought. Because we have the right players, the right makeup of people, and I've always felt that. So we're doing our touchdown dance today.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Me and Central are in here, being positive. Adam says the O-line. Charles, the Muskegon posse up in the house. Stopping the running quarterback. That's always been a problem for us. That was the thing that I needed to see too, Chuck. That was the thing I needed to see. Like, we've stopped quarterbacks that are mobile before. Caleb Williams is a mobile quarterback. But he's never proven to do anything in this league before. So when you stop a fast quarterback that hasn't done anything, you're like, okay, can you do it against Lamar Jackson? Could you do it against Josh Allen? Can you do it against Patrick Mahomes? We get to answer those questions this year. But the running quarterbacks has always been one of our Achilles heels. And they stopped them. So that's a great thing.
You like that?
Mark with another vote for our defense being able to stop Lamar. DJ says that that third quarter, I was definitely feeling like the Ravens was about to amp it up, but the turnovers. Mark said his confidence level is quite high, so he wasn't sweating at all. And that's fine. You know, I get the PTSOL sometimes in here because I have to come on here every day. And, you know, obviously it's better to come on here after a win than it is a loss. So, yeah, some of that stuff sets in. I start thinking about, well, what are these guys going to say to me when I come in here if we lose? Gosh, you guys nailed these comments. I'm like way behind, ain't I? Well, maybe not that bad. DJ Reed, Marco, thank you for all the comments, guys. Eat, Steve, and get some. Damn. Lions put the NFL on notice from Mark Orlando. Ooh, there you go. There's a great call. Trevor Arnold, the kicker. Jake Bates had a touchdown-saving tackle. DJ says the 2 missed interceptions. God, if they would have got those interceptions, though, DJ, it would have been worse, right? This game wasn't really close. You know, the Lions pulled away in the second half. It was close in the first half. You know, but the Lions owned that fourth quarter. Mark Andrews, the tight end, letting him have his way too many times. I didn't like that last drive. I mean, Mark Andrews was solid, but I think that we gave him too many chances. Like if you take this comment right here, DJ, the missed 2 interceptions, if they wouldn't have missed those 2 interceptions, Mark Andrews wouldn't have had that big game because he's the one that scored that touchdown on that. And Rick says, I've seen plenty using injuries in it. Hey, they can use the excuse. You can use whatever excuse you want out there. If that's how you want to roll, making excuses for your team. But my team won 15 games with the most injured team maybe of all time. So that is what it is. So you can use the injury excuses, but next man up is the way that it goes. Fred says that ESPN has Davenport on the IR for 4 weeks. I put the over-under at 10 games this year for him. He's played 2, and now he's guaranteed to miss 4. So there you go. Is the over-under. Over-under's at 10 games. That's where we decided in the middle of the offseason, which would be the amount that we would feel good about re-signing Marcus Davenport. So that's not a good start, playing in 2 games, and then now he's going to miss 4. But it's not over yet. We could still get to the magic number of 10. And to me, I don't really care about the beginning of the season. If we can get some Marcus Davenport and he can help us come playoff time.
Playoffs?
Then I'll feel better about that. I don't, you know. But if he doesn't, if he hits that under, I mean, what are we really even doing here? It's not that big of a deal because we never really counted on him to begin with. Now, the Lions are counting on a couple of guys, maybe. You know, you might be counting on a guy that you don't like as much. Shep is going to be getting head coaching calls after this season. Hopefully he holds off for a couple years. I think he will. I mean, he could probably get a head coaching job. There's a couple other guys on our team that could probably get head coaching jobs too, like Scotty Montgomery. Scotty Reno says that last year took a couple weeks for the offense to gel. Definitely gelling interior line, offensive line play was the surprise to me the most. Yeah, I didn't expect the middle of that line, Scotty, to hold up that well against the Ravens defense. Now, I know they're missing Madubuike, but the Ravens are one of those teams where, like, all of their guys are good. You know, they didn't have Kyle Van Noy, but they had Mike Green. That's a guy that a lot of these Lion fans wanted Brad Holmes to draft in the draft this year. Mark says the chat is on a roll for today. Mark says, here's a prediction for you. I think Shepard is going to be a better DC for us than Aaron Glenn was. I agree. I agree with that, Mark.
You like that?
I actually made a video about a month ago that had that take. And the reason why is the players. Kelvin Shepard is going to be a better DC for the Lions, and it isn't even Aaron Glenn's fault. It's not Aaron Glenn's fault. Aaron Glenn had to build it from the get-go. He was here in 2021 when we won 3 games and didn't have any players. He developed all of these players. I mean, Kelvin Shepard helped too with the linebackers, but all of these players got developed underneath Aaron Glenn's watch, and now you have, 9, 10 players that were developed during that time that are all starting to head into their prime. I mean, Kelvin Shepard has a much better team than Aaron Glenn ever had here. He has a much better defense, and it's the same players. That's the crazy thing. It's the same players, but we have a much better team because we've been, getting better, incrementally better. All of those players. I mean, you think Brian Branch, Jack Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone, DJ Reader, Branch Kirby, all of those guys, they've been growing up together. They've all been getting better every year, incrementally better. Rick C says Caleb Williams is a running back who also throws the ball occasionally. He's got a pretty good arm, though, Rick. He's got a good arm. Here's a great point here. Dwayne says that we need to be ready, stay focused, play hard, and be patient. Have fun on both sides of the ball for the Browns game. Can't take any team lightly. No, just look at last week. The Packers really shit the bed. Now, there's also, if the Browns beat the Lions, then I think a different story is going to be told than the Lions and the Browns or the Lions and the Packers shit the bed. If the Browns go back-to-back and they beat the Lions and the Packers in back-to-back weeks, the people are going to be talking about are the Browns for real? Now, I don't think that the Browns did anything in that game that made me go, oh, shit. I mean, they won scoring 13 points. The Lions have a better offense than the Packers. So I think our offense is going to be able to move the ball. Whoever had to cover Zay Flowers gets a game ball for me. They really didn't throw at him all that much, though. I don't know if he was so covered up. I think that's more on our defensive line getting pressure in there faster because, you know, the plays couldn't get developed downfield. Mark Orlando feels that Davenport will be backing up Al-Quadin Muhammad when he gets back. You damn right he will be. Muhammad was playing better than Davenport anyway. You know, one thing I love about Muhammad is he does his job. He doesn't do more than his job. He just does his job. And in this defense, I think that's what it's going to be. Because when you're spending $40, $50 million on a pass rusher, which we will when we re-up Aiden Hutchinson, you have to have the other defensive linemen on there that, you know, might not be getting paid as much. They're not going to have as big of a role. And I think that their job is going to be simply to give either Aiden Hutchinson opportunities or they are going to have a one-on-one opportunity. But doing your job, that's what Al-Quadin Muhammad does really well. Davenport doesn't cost us very much. Hank Fraley, too, is head coach material. But Hank Fraley doesn't go out and try to tell you that he wants to be a head coach. He's actually came out and said as much. I don't think that he wants to be a head coach. I don't even think that he wants to be a coordinator. You know, some people just like their jobs. You know, some people are so good at their jobs that they do get opportunities, but I'm sure that Hank Fraley, he's been a badass for a while. Fred says Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Well, here's the thing, Fred. I'll tell Scotty. It depends, but Johnny Morton. How long is John Morton going to be here? You know, that was a pretty good offensive showing right there. Mark G saying accident prone. Time to move on from him, I think. Trade him for a decent D and backup or some draft style. You ain't going to be able to get anything off of him. You're not going to get. Steve comes in at the very, very end of the show. But I appreciate that, Steve. The congratulations. Now the Lions tied again with the tiebreaker coming with a team that is going to be more ready to play with a chip on their shoulder. So I don't like the Packers' chances. In Lambeau Field. And, you know, his track record. I mean, anytime that LaFleur has won against Dan Campbell, it's been one of these punches. You know, when you won on Thanksgiving a couple years back, you jumped out to a lead. I don't think the Packers can beat us in a close game. I think that we have more heart and that if the game gets close, the Lions will win it. Or the Lions will blow you guys out. The Fool's Gold Packers, I think, got exposed. Central Screwdriver says, too soon to talk about coaches leaving. There's more work to be done. Yeah, I don't think that we're in danger for that. We just got brand new coordinators. I think they're going to stay at least 1 year. Kyle says that Green Bay played down to their opponents last year. LaFleur's arrogance and immaturity cost the team. Jack Campbell showed out. Rick C says Johnny Moe showed out. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. Awesome game last night and awesome show today, Russell. Let's keep it rolling. Thank you, John. I felt like it flowed well today, man. I think there's something about being happy that's going out there. And I think that I'm going to leave you today. I'm going to actually put some of these post press conference guys right here. And I'm going to leave you with that. But thank you, everybody, for jumping on the show today and being part of Overreaction. Let me get the right one in here. I need this one in. I made some mistakes today, too. That's funny. That's all right. Put myself, I can't even spell reaction. Let me get that in there. Come on. Come on, Cletus. There we go. That one, I got it spelled right. But thank you for joining the show today. Anybody that's out there, man, if you got the time, can you head on over to my YouTube page? I need some help on my YouTube page, guys. I'm not gonna beg you for it. But the villain is on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, the whole nine. We have almost 80,000 people. I want to see if we've crossed that threshold yet. Did we cross the threshold of 80,000 yet? Yes, we did. That's awesome. We did that during the show, guys. We crossed over 80,000 people while we were doing this show. Thank you so much for making us part of your everyday. This episode, like all the episodes, are brought to you by Fanatics.com. That's right. If you're down with the 313, if you bleed Honolulu blue, then you need to gear up like the real one over at Fanatics, our official merch partner. I'm talking official Lions jerseys, blackout hoodies, throwback Tigers gear, and WWE gear, Red Wings gear. So here's what you do. You hit that link there in the comments, save up to 25% off of your order. Every click supports the channel and lets the whole world know that Detroit fans do it better, and they do it bigger. So we don't do knockoffs. We do the real. We do Fanatics. Get yours. It's faith, family, and then football. In that order. We use football to spend time with our family, to create memories. We don't let football use us. So I'm going to leave you right here. Let me say this prayer over your life right here. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen to that. And I'm going to leave you with some Aiden Hutchinson talking about this victory. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video.
The effort of the front seven today. 7 sacks. I think that ties a record for Lamar in single game. You guys really contain him. I had to imagine that the game plan was to kind of keep him contained, don't let him get the run pass option outside the pocket. The way you guys played him today, how impressive was that?
Yeah, it was good. I think at first we were trying to. I think we were just running a little too many games, and he was kind of creasing, cutting up those games a little bit that we were running, and I think we just kind of went into let's just rush straight, let's get after it, and let's go win, and that's what we did. Big shout out for the coverage. I mean, that's what happens when good coverage marries good rush, is you get sacks, and that's the name of the game. And today was that, and we didn't even start off that hot with the sacks. It's something that just kept picking up steam as we went. So I'm really happy and proud of everybody. Quan with 2.5, I think, which is so happy for him, and everyone else had 1, I think. But it was really, really good defensive second half, I think.
Yeah, it's a completely different outcomes like that. We won week 2, but can this kind of be a barometer to show you guys can compete with any team in the league? Just what does this show you guys, this type of victory, as far as a barometer where you guys at in comparison to the rest of them?
For sure, it's always good to win those big competitive games, and I knew we were a good team, and I know people were doubting us after that Green Bay game, and we got the big test in Cleveland next week. So is that right? Yeah. So it's just NFL. It's going to be every week. We got to bring our A game, and when we brought it today, and it paid off. But it's we're 2-1 now, and we got to stack them.
You're kind of reflecting tonight, Aiden. Like, I was listening to the broadcast, I had heard your name, I looked down, I'm like, is he out there? And then 5 minutes when you strip Henry, and then you get Lamar after that. Mm-hmm. How do you kind of chip away night, and you got there?
Yeah, it was. I feel like a lot of the run game, I wasn't getting a ton of action, and then pass game, Lamar was. I thought he was good getting out in the second or in the first half. He was good scrambling, and then our rush lanes got better. Coverage was marrying with good rushes, and then that's when things started picking up. And I think there's definitely sacks that you leave out there that I can think of right now. And but I think at the end of the day, we made the plays that we had to win the game. And it might have been a little bit of quiet at first, but then we surged onto the scene with a couple big plays to finish them off at the end.
Let's do a couple more, guys.
What'd you make of the performance of your teammate Gibbs and Montgomery?
David Montgomery. That was he brought a lot of joy when I was sitting on the bench today. Look at him, he's loving this. David, he deserves it all. He works his ass off. Really, no one deserves it more than David with what he did today. I wish he would have cribbed that long run, but ended up getting caught a little bit. But no, he's a baller, man, and he really won us that game today. It was a big reason why we won.
If you walk us through the punch, Derrick Henry doesn't cough the ball up a lot. Maybe you really bring that one out of there. I know defensive players are always swinging, but you just walk us through the mentality and to see that ball loose.
Yeah, we had a play where I kind of went upfield, and I was tracking back, and I saw that ball cradling a little bit, and I put my head down and just threw the biggest hook I could. And then I got up, and everybody started running to the end zone. At that moment, I knew that ball came out. So that was a fun moment. I've never actually done that before, where I got a clean punch out like that on a ball carrier. So that was a lot of fun, actually. That was really, really cool.
Hey guys, last question for David, please, after Justin.
That was a big point of emphasis for guys in practice. This big point of emphasis, the punching out this weekend, knowing that maybe Derrick and Lamar had a little bit of shaky play there early in the season. How much does that practice work pay off in a game?
We put a big emphasis on it, and that's a big nod to Shep. But we've been doing this, and I really just learned that from Amik, watching him last year against Tennessee, coming from behind, boom, left hook, ball out. So shout out Amik for showing me the way. Mm-hmm.
David, can we just start with the play of the offensive line up front? You guys get 151 yards, really good play up front. Just that's a couple weeks down the road, those guys have really played well. What were you seeing from the guys up front that allowed you and Jameer to have the kind of nights, and you guys have the kind of night as a team on the ground?
It starts up front, Those guys don't get enough credit, they caught a lot of backlash after the first week, you know, and everybody was kind of on them about it. And, you know, it's really important to keep the horse blinders on when you're in the midst of the mud, you know. But we got the best group up front in the league, so they did exactly what I knew they would do, and, you know, we had fun tonight.
A perfect way to remind people. I remember you said earlier in the year that this is the longest really thing going into a season. You want to remind people that you're in the offense. How much is that fuel to you, especially these big games like this, to remind people that you are still in the game?
Yeah, for sure. For me, every play that I'm out there, I ask God to grant me gratitude and not anxiety. You know, and I think a lot of times when we permit things being relied on ourselves, we fail every trip we get, you know. But I'm so grateful for God being who he is for me and being able to soften my heart and my mind. So whenever the opportunity displayed itself, I was able to handle my business. So, you know, God is amazing. I'm just grateful.
David, you guys were pinned deep twice. We've seen it practice after practice after practice. You're the guy that go to when you're pinned deep to create some of that space. To have the 98-yard drive, to have the 96-yard drive, and to know that you kind of kick-started that. You know, what kind of gratitude and joy do you take in that element of the dirty work?
Hey, again, it was not me at all. You know, you can't play this game by yourself. The guys up front, the receivers, you know, the tight ends, like you can't do that at all without those guys up front being selfless enough to be able to move those guys out the way so that I can have the right read. So my job is easy. You know, they did the hard part. So again, I'm grateful for those guys.
Give us your eyes on the 72-yard run. Put us in your perspective.
My eyes?
Yeah, what did you see as you're kind of hitting that hole? And what are you reading in that play?
For real. I just was sticking to my read. You know, Coach Twist had been on me this whole offseason about trusting my read and staying square, and I was able to do that. I'm more disappointed that I got hawked. So, you know what I'm saying? My brother gonna be on me about that, but it's cool though.
Can you walk us through the celebration, that crying celebration?
Nah, so I got a like an alter self. I see myself as the Joker. And in one of his movies, he was fake crying and he started to laugh after he, you know what I'm saying, was crying. It's kind of like a joke on the world. Like that's kind of my go-to celly for the whole year. You'll see it a lot.
Coach Quinn says that your best players are your hardest workers on this team. How does he?
Coach who?
Coach Quinn. Or sorry, Coach Campbell. Sorry, got the wrong Quinn. Sorry. Coach Campbell says.
That's a fine.
Coach Campbell says that your best players are your hardest workers on this team. How does he kind of instill that culture in this team and push you guys to be leaders by example?
Yeah. He walks it every day. You know what I'm saying? Coach Campbell's always the first in and last out. He holds everybody accountable, but he holds himself accountable the most, you know, and when you're getting led by something like that, it's easy for you to follow. And you got a team full of guys that's like that. Selfless individuals, you know, guys who weren't the best where they were, guys who got counted out a lot of times in their life, but you know, you get in a place where you're able to have some selfless guys who show a lot of humility and have gratitude for the game and for each other. I feel like you can create something special. And, you know, and we got something special here, you know. This is a big game for us, and we just get ready to work on the Browns here now soon.
And you played a heck of a game on defense against this team, had a lot of sacks. What do you put into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes hand in hand with the coverage and then the pass rush. So the defensive line and linebackers did a good job getting home, but also in the back end they did a great job covering. So it's complementary, hand in hand. So it worked out tonight.
And on your birthday,
yeah,
a nice present.
Oh yeah, but great birthday present. Got a little sack too, so I'm happy.
You talked about people doubting you a little bit this year. Answered some questions tonight, I would think, didn't you?
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, possibly. You know, I feel like we did a great job just coming in here with the right mindset, ready to go. The coaches put a great game plan together, especially Shep. He did a really good job of making it clean for us, but also changing the look for them. So we were able to execute at times. Obviously, there's stuff to clean up, but yeah, it was a statement win for us.
How about 7 sacks? Yeah. Just your thoughts on that and the pressure you put on him tonight.
Yeah, we got to keep it going. We got to keep it going. We got whatever we have to do to keep it rolling. We got to continue it throughout the season. And yeah, I'm an important guy. Whatever we have to do to keep it going, we got to do that.
Alex, what about the spy? I mean, you guys, it really worked for you guys, especially in the second half with you spying Lamar and not letting him break loose on some of those runs.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Shep does a good job of putting a good, pass rush, game plan together. So. We're able to get those 3 guys after it, and when we go against these mobile quarterbacks, we have to do something to contain them and slow them down. So obviously we weren't able to get home on everyone, but we were able to get the pressure late towards the end of the down.
2 drives of more than 95 yards, just churning away, keeping you guys fresh.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure, that's huge. Anytime you can keep our defense off the field like that and just take time away from a really great offense on the other side, that's really important. And it goes hand in hand. When the offense struggled, we had a 3 and out, and when they were going, they did their thing when we needed them. So those big drives were huge, and we just got to keep it going.
I feel like there were times tonight where you had to answer them and you were able to put together big drives. I mean, a 94 to 96 yard, 98 yard drive is something else.
I mean, yeah. Coach, one of the keys to victory was complementary football and offense. We knew what our job was, and those 2 drives was just us doing our job.
Did you feel like you were able to lean on them a little bit there and that running game opened up in the second half?
I think so. I mean, as the game goes on, you kind of get a feel of what's working, what's not. And it just comes down to everybody doing their job again.
What kind of statement do you feel like this team made tonight coming on the road and getting a win like this?
As a team, I think we definitely made a statement, but that was the expectations. It's crazy. We still feel like we got a lot of work to do. So we're gonna enjoy this one, man. 24-hour rule, man. Get ready for the Browns.
You know what a challenge that offense is going to be to get 7 sacks on Lamar Jackson tonight. What to say about this defense?
Once we play together, man, this defense can take us places. And like I said before, it's crazy. We didn't even play, up to our standard, but we'll take the win, man. Get back to the drawing board and get ready for the next week.
Complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. Is that what stood out to you?
Definitely, man. Defense got the ball back. D-line played hella. Defense played hella tonight. Linebackers flew around. DBs covered. Was able to get the offense back the ball, put some points on the board, and I feel like we definitely played as a whole today. But we gonna keep on stacking.
I don't know if you heard this, the most sacks ever against Lamar Jackson.
Hey!
What do you think about the game plan that Shep devised?
Shep just doing his thing, man, dialing it up, and we just trust him. Our offense went out there and were striking today, though. Those boys are running the ball, passing the ball. They did a good job. It was just a good game plan by the coaches, and players went out there and executed, man, so it was fun.
You're a guy that creates his own energy, but when Shep's out there kind of being Shep, what does that do even for a vet, just elevating you in the game?
I love it, man. I love how aggressive we call, we play. I enjoy it. So it's good. And then the guys we got around us, man, they just special. So it makes it a lot easier being a nose guard in there playing just with blocks because, you got some special guys around you that make it happen.